Well, welcome. Today we are going to talk a little bit about financing for Codesmith. So we're not really going to focus too much about the actual structure of the program. This is more of information on how to finance the program once you've been admitted. But if you have questions related to the program, you're welcome to send me an email and I will post my information at the end of this. So that way you have it. So if you have any questions during this, please use the raise hand feature. So that way I can see that you have a question, or you're welcome to pop it in the chat and I'll definitely get to those. But we'll get started. I'll be sending some slides at the end tomorrow morning as well. So if you feel like you didn't get your notes written down, do not worry. You will get them. You'll get a copy of the slides tomorrow. All right, so again, hello, nice to meet you. I'm Victoria. I'm the Senior Programs Manager at Codesmith. So myself and my team, we oversee all the program operations for our immersive programs. So what that means, we're here to support the students and the academic team to make sure everyone has what they need for the program to run smoothly, and to make sure that your time at Codesmith is as impactful, as positive, and as supported as possible. So if you have any questions about literally anything about the program, whether it's just about the program in general, if it's meant for you, financial aid, scholarships, just like general structure of the program, what it's like to be in the program, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is victoria.a@codesmith.io, and I'm happy to answer your questions. And you can also find me on the CSX Slack as Victoria Codesmith, always available if you come up with anything else while we're here today. My fun fact here, which is a little bit of a now outdated fun fact. My friend and I used to dress up as Game of Thrones characters for Halloween, and we were once featured on a BuzzFeed article, which I'm still very proud of to this day, which again, a little bit of an outdated fun fact at this point. All right, so like I said, today we're going to quickly cover the program, do a program overview, and just talk a little bit about the, what we do at Codesmith. But a big focus today is going to be about actually like how we finance the program and how, how to best pay for the program once you've been admitted. There we go. So what is Codesmith? Did any of you attend the info session right before this? Yes, maybe? Caitlin's nodding, wonderful. So Codesmith, we are an immersive program. This is best for people who are looking to transition themselves into a career in software engineering. So our programs are designed to build autonomous technical problem solvers, rather just technicians, where when you're a technician, you know how to code, but you don't really know the why or how behind it. And that's where Codesmith comes in. We help to really teach you to understand how to not just write code, but understand from a deeper under the hood perspective, and really start to think as an engineer and understanding, the why, how to do it, and what you're actually doing. So here we really value analytical problem solving and having a really deep understanding of how your code works to really push you into those mid to senior level roles. Sorry, my computer is a little bit slow today. So we have a full-time immersive program and a part-time immersive program. Our full-time program is Monday through Friday, 9 to 8, and Saturday, 9 to 4:30. And we do offer this in multiple time zones. So in the East Coast, that's New York, based out of New York, Pacific time, based out of LA, and we also have a Central time, which we call our remote immersive program. The program itself is 13 weeks. Like I said, Monday through Friday, 9 to 8, Saturday, 9 to 4:30. If you calculate the time, that is about 60 to 70 hours a week. So it is a very, very full-time schedule. Alternately, we have a part-time remote immersive program. It is actually the same exact program, just spread out over a course of 38 weeks instead of the 13 weeks. The schedule for that is Monday through Thursday, 5 to 8 Pacific, and Saturday, 9 to 3 Pacific. Again, over a span of 38 weeks. If you're unsure, which one is better suited for you, I would always recommend doing the full-time if you have that capacity to. The part-time remote immersive program is really designed for people who have other obligations. So such as maybe you're working full or part-time, or maybe you have other personal or family obligations to tend to. That's really suited for those individuals. Otherwise, if you are able to commit to a full-time schedule, that's what the full-time immersive program is available for. Like I said, it is the same exact program, same level of difficulty, same curriculum, same instruction, same support, same community that you would get across all the programs. The biggest difference really being that the scheduling and the timing of the program. But today we're here to talk about financing. So what happens when you get into Codesmith, you got that acceptance call, how are you going to finance it? So these are the important numbers to take note of. Like I said, I will send an email tomorrow, so you'll have it in case you miss it. But the total cost for tuition for both the full-time and the part-time program is $19,350. So that's the magic number of our full tuition. Keep in mind, our tuition does increase annually, and we'll announce that usually before the new year, what that increase is going to be. But right now, the total is $19,350. That total tuition includes a deposit of $2,400, and that deposit holds your spot in the program once you've been admitted into Codesmith. So you'll get an acceptance call saying, hey, you just got into Codesmith. You'll speak to our admissions team, and you'll have 1 week to submit that deposit of $2,400 to hold your spot. Hold your spot in the cohort. Within that week, we are holding your spot, but after that week, it does become rolling, and admission is taken on a first come, first basis. So once you have been admitted, the quicker you can submit your deposit, the quicker you can confirm your spot in the program. Then your remaining balance of $16,950 is officially due on the very first day of the program. So again, to recap, it's $19,350 your total. You submit that deposit of $2,400, and then your remaining balance of $16,950 is due by the first day of the program. If any of you have done any of our prep programs, such as JavaScript for Beginners or CS Prep, whatever amount that you paid for those prep programs, that actually does roll it over into your immersive tuition. I definitely recommend doing it if you are thinking about doing one of our prep programs. It's totally worth the cost, and that any money that you pay toward that tuition gets applied to your immersive tuition. So let's say you pay that $875 to do CS Prep. That $875 will be deducted from your balance of $16,950 that's due on the first day. Well, fun so far? Awesome. I see a couple. So our different options in order to offset that or to complete your payments for the program is that we have a payment plan that we offer. We do have some scholarships available, and we work with a loan organization called Ascent, and we'll dive a little bit into all of these different things. So our payment plans. If you are unable to submit full tuition by the first day, do not fret. We do offer payment plans. If you are in the full-time program, that payment plan is typically your deposit is due of $2,400 once you've been admitted. Then you'll submit an installment of $2,550 in the first day of the program. And after that, you would make 3 monthly payments of $4,800. So that way your tuition is paid off by the end of the program. If you're doing our part-time remote immersive program, same thing where you submit a deposit of $2,400, you have an installment of $2,550 due on the first day, and then you would make 8 monthly payments of $1,800 till the end of the program. And this allows for your tuition to be paid off by the final day of the program. If you are doing a payment plan, we actually do not do any credit checks. There's no interest accrued on any of these payment plans. It's just you would just pay off the full tuition as long as your tuition is paid off by the final day of the program. If you make any late payments and your payments go past the last day of the program, that is when you'll start to accrue interest. So it's really important that you make all your payments on time and you submit it by the end of the program. So once you've been admitted into the program and you're interested in a payment plan, all you need to do is reach out to your program coordinator and let them know, hey, I'm really interested in doing a payment plan for my tuition. And our team will send you a contract with their terms and payment schedule so you can read through what the terms are for this payment plan. If you need to make any adjustments, like maybe the agreed upon date doesn't really work for you, again, totally fine. You can let us know and we can work with you to make any accommodations or talk through a schedule that will be best for you. But for both of these plans, you would submit that deposit of $2,400, that first installment of $2,550, and then you would make monthly installments until the end of the program. Any questions so far about the payment plans? So we also work with Ascent, which is a personal education loan organization. They were formerly known as Skills Funds. You may have heard that name floating around. They have rebranded to Ascent after a few months ago. Ascent is a really great option for people who are looking for a loan or who are unable to use that payment plan option. A lot of similar programs use Ascent. They're used all across the board, and we have like hundreds of students that have gone through Skills Fund /Ascent. So they're actually really, really responsive and super helpful. So if you have any questions about them specifically, I definitely recommend reaching out to them. But in terms of the loans from Ascent, their interest rates are completely based off of your credit score. So it is definitely personalized. It's based off of your situation. So if you are interested in finding out what your rate would be, it would be best to reach out to Ascent directly. They can give you more information based off of your credit score and payment history. In terms of repayment for Ascent, they offer a couple different options. But first, they offer interest-only payments for the first 3 to 6 months. So you'd be making those interest payments on the interest only throughout the program. And once the program ends, start making full payments. Or you can select a deferred payment option where you would not start paying tuition until the program has ended. So you'd start making payments 3 months after the program has started. Really great options, and that way you can really start to plan ahead of time, and you'll have those two that you can pick from once you've received acceptance on your loan. Really great thing with Ascent is too is they also have an option to request loans for living expenses up to $6,000. So if you need financing for rent or bills, anything related to your living expenses, you are able to request a loan for living expenses in addition to your tuition. So the different ways to request a loan can happen 3 different ways. So one, you can submit a deposit of that $2,400 and then request a loan from Ascent for your balance of $16,950. Or you can request a loan for the full tuition of $19,350. And if you do that, they'll let us know this person, you requested a loan for the full tuition, then you will not be required to submit a deposit to Codesmith. That will be considered your deposit that you requested a loan for the full tuition. Or you can make a partial tuition payment to Codesmith and request a loan for your balance. So you can, let's say you request a loan for $10,000, then then you would make a full payment of $9,350 to Codesmith. So you have a lot of different options of how you want to play around with this. It is up to you. I think you just have to make a minimum loan request of at least $2,000. You can apply to Ascent once you have been accepted into the program. You can reach out to them at any time to ask them questions and find out a little bit more about what your rates will be, but they won't approve your loan until they receive confirmation from Codesmith that you've received acceptance into the program. And Ascent is available for all U.S. citizens, permanent residents, and international students. Keep in mind, if you are not a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, they may be asked to have a co-signer in the U.S. in order to be approved. Ascent has a pretty high approval rate, which is really great. If for any reason that you don't get approved, they may ask you to sign with a co-signer. And if that still doesn't go through, just let us know and we can work with you to see what our other options are available. But Ascent's super easy to work with. They are very, very responsive. For more information on what they will offer you specifically, always reach out to them and they can get you situated. Once you do request a loan, they actually get back to you pretty quickly, which is really nice. I think the approval time frame is only about 48 hours. So once you apply, you'll hear back from them pretty quickly. If you are awarded a scholarship or anything like that, we will let Ascent know, and we will adjust your loan amount based off of a scholarship or anything that you've been awarded. And finally, Codesmith has a scholarship fund. It all kind of comes from the same pool, but this is available for our really standout community members, particularly minorities in tech, that we believe are really huge assets to the Codesmith community and are really going to be strong leaders in their cohort and as an alumni. So they kind of come in a lot of different variations, but we offer scholarships for women, minorities in tech, LGBTQ, prior boot camp grads, veterans, and we have our general Codesmith scholarship if you don't identify as any of these things. But our scholarship applications are due 14 days before the cohort starts. You can only apply once you have been admitted into the program and have submitted a deposit. So you have to have already been confirmed that you're joining that cohort in order to actually apply for the scholarship. So they're due 14 days before the program starts, and we make decisions about a week before the cohort begins, and we'll let you know whether or not you've been awarded and what that award amount will be. We typically award 2 to 3 people per cohort, and while you can be awarded up to 20% of the tuition, the typical scholarship amount is about $1,000 to $2,000, depending on the quality of your application. So once you have been admitted, you can request that. We'll send it to you. It is an essay-based application, but we take all things into consideration, including, your admissions process, where you had your original interview and your technical interview. We take a very holistic approach when identifying our candidates for the scholarships. But the application that you do submit for the scholarship is weighed very, very heavily, and it is very important for us to see how you're looking to, really contribute to the community and provide mentorship while you're throughout in the program. Our scholarship winners are required to complete a couple requirements throughout the program, including writing 2 blogs, and also participating in several events as an alumni. And those are requirements in order to continue keeping your scholarship, even throughout once you graduate the program. I also wanted to point out here the Lesbians Who Tech Scholarship. Lesbians Who Tech is a partner we have, and they have a biannual scholarship called the Edie Windsor Scholarship that is available twice a year. So that scholarship covers up to 50% of tuition, and it's usually given to two individuals twice a year. That is a completely separate scholarship application. So if that is something you're interested in applying to, you should definitely reach out to Lesbians Who Tech separately. I don't know if their application is available right now, but they will post on their website when their applications are open, and it only applies to specific times of the year. That's a really great opportunity, a great scholarship, and we've had a lot of wonderful Codesmith applicants that have applied to it and have gone and finished the program. And finally, last year, we released our Codesmith Scholarship for Black engineers. At this time, all of these scholarships have been awarded for the whole year, but we do still have an option where you can apply for an interest-free deferred payment agreement. So if you identify as one of our Black engineers, let us know. We can give you more information on that scholarship or deferred payment agreement application. For that is that is an application process, an interview process, and it's a little bit separate from our regular Codesmith scholarships that we just talked about. That one's also on a rolling basis. There's no real deadline for it, but the sooner that you receive admission to the program, the sooner we can get you the information, and the sooner we can get you through that process, and if that is something that you want to apply for. And for those, we do have a limited amount of deferred payment agreements that we can give out each year. So there is a limited availability. If you have other questions about it, let me know. So that is actually really all I have for you all today. I know it was a pretty short presentation, but we covered a lot, but I'm happy to answer any questions. Let me stop my sharing here. Any questions? If you want to pop them in the chat or raise your hand, use the raise hand feature, and I'm happy to call on you and answer any questions you have. Let me put these codes here for you. All right, I see a hand. Karen.
Hey, can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Question in terms of the scholarships.
Sure.
What exactly is the scholarship application process? So I know that you said it was 14 days before the start of the program that you're accepted into.
Yeah, so the application for the scholarship is actually an essay-based application. So when if you want to apply, you let your programs or admissions coordinator know. We can send you the application. It's very straightforward, just a couple of questions, just to get to know you a little bit more. And we're really looking for you to highlight your interest in mentorship and your interest in giving back to the Codesmith community.
Is that just the general layout for like most of the applications?
Yeah, it's actually one application, and then you can check off which scholarship you're applying to.
Oh, okay.
A great question. I see a question in the chat. Are the applications due by midnight on the 17th or the day of the 17th? So they're usually due by end of day of the 17th. So just end of day, 11:59, get your application in. You're welcome, Zahir. Any other questions? All right, so I'll put my email in the chat here. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today. Again, I'm Victoria. I'm the Senior Programs Manager. I just put my email in the chat. And you can also find me on CSX as Victoria Codesmith. You can DM me there if you have other questions. I see another question. Is a Java intro session enough to prep for the application challenge? I definitely recommend working through CSX before getting to that challenge. That way you have a little bit of exposure on getting yourself ready for the program. Honestly, if you're going to get through the technical interview, you should have completed everything through Recursion on CSX. The coding challenge itself, I think it's FizzBuzz. So if you can solve that, which is usually at the end of CSX, you should be good to go. Oh, Karen, another question.
Yeah, so for The application process, and I've kind of been attending a lot of different workshops.
Mhm.
It seems pretty intimidating to do the technical interviews because like during some of the work, like one of the workshops a couple of days ago last week, it was I think it was like the how to pass the technical interview workshop. And
Yeah.
some of the people that had questions had just come up and asked, like, hey, this is like my second or third round trying to do the technical interview. I'm concerned that I won't be able to pass.
Mhm.
Um, and so I intend to hopefully by tomorrow night apply for both the JavaScript for beginners and the CS prep.
Great.
But I don't know. My timeline for trying to get into a cohort is hopefully for the December 4th cohort.
Okay.
So I guess I was just wondering how often in general do applicants usually get past the technical interview after they do those prep courses?
That's a really good question. It's definitely okay to feel intimidating. It's a very challenging technical interview, but the purpose behind that is to make sure that you are, that you are ready for the program. But many people, just like you, have felt that way when they're in their interview. So it just, don't be scared. It is actually really challenging, but as long as you put the work in, you'll be fine. But honestly, people who go through JSB and CS prep and take that trajectory where you're going through all the prep programs, I find have a lot of success in the technical interview versus people who are studying on their own. And that is because in JSB and CS Prep, we're really giving you that foundation on how to pair program, how to get, how to really communicate through your code and, technical, be like, have really strong technical communication, really understand like that foundational knowledge and really learning how to problem solve. And that's going to really prepare you for the interview. In addition to those two, definitely, work through CSX, continue to come to those workshops, continue to pair program with people, and then also work on other websites, things like Code Wars and Leap Code and Code Academy. Those are all really great ways to continue like supplementing your studies, while you're working toward that technical interview. December is not a lofty goal. I think if you're getting started now, it's September. It's definitely possible. So as long as you are, like you're putting the work in, really, and getting as much practice as you can, utilizing all the resources that you have available to you, it's definitely possible. I will say that it's very common to not pass your first technical interview. Like I said, it is very challenging. Most people in the program don't really pass their first technical interview, but don't feel intimidated by that. It is, if you don't pass, we'll give you feedback on areas that you need to improve on. So we'll always be really, we'll give you a lot of visibility that way, so you know exactly where you need to continue focusing your studying on to get you prepared and pass that next interview. But definitely do JSB, definitely do CS prep, because that will really help you to prepare for the interview itself.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Good luck. All right. Other questions? All right. Like I said, you can find me on CSX. But I want to wish you all good luck. I really hope that we get to see you in the program soon and continue to be on this journey with you. So thanks so much for joining me tonight. Enjoy the rest of your night.